So you want to make a video podcast in 2025? Well, you have come to the perfect place. Grab your favorite bev, sit down, get a notepad. I'm about to walk you through my flow for putting out at least one, if not two episodes every single week on your video podcast. So your first step is going to be planning. At the end of this video, I'm actually going to show you some other resources that I've used to help me plan episodes. Everyone's different, so everyone needs a different structure. But for me, typically the podcast style I like to do is very conversational, almost like we're on a FaceTime. So I plan very bare bones, whatever I'm really feeling and I'm passionate about that week. I know the umbrella of my topics is self-development, self-improvement, but under that, there are so many things to talk about. So for this episode that I'm about to record, working on the notes now, I'm just doing it on my phone, super simple. Just podcast, the topic is back to the basics, and the hook is don't skip this step. Just something to really grab people's attention and show them that they don't want to skip this video. You don't want to skip this video. Now, I'll write out a few other notes, but that's pretty much all that I'm going to be doing. At least 3 main bullet points under this. A lot of it I've already thought about in my head, but just to conceptualize it, we'll write it down. If you need help, you have our bestie boo, ChatGPT. A recent video I did, 24 things to leave in 2024, I actually used ChatGPT for this. I gave it the context of who I am, a faith-based self-development podcast content creator that also focuses on lifestyle and wellness. And with that context, asked it about things to leave in the last year. Because y'all, 24 things to come up with, I was tired. I had just got my wisdom teeth taken out. I didn't have time to think about that. So use your resources as you are creating. So now we know what we want to talk about. The question is, how are we going to get this message across? How are we going to create the content? First, get yourself in a good mood, whether it is dancing in the mirror or listening to good music. Get yourself in a good mood, and that's your good mood. I'm never going to be the loudest in the room. You're not going to catch me yelling on my podcast. This is about as passionate as we're going to get, but that's me. So whatever that is for you, find that for you. Next, pick a spot. When I was in undergrad, I literally had like a chair opposite my twin XL dorm bed and would just have like a sign up on the wall, and that's what I started recording on. And that's how I started. Start anywhere. Start with a clean wall. Start with a drape behind you. Do what you have to do, but get a corner. These are my corners. I have 2. So this is my first corner. I have my plants on the side. If I want to roll this glasses cart to be in the background, I can do that too. This is typically for a close-up shot like this. Or if I'm having a guest, I'll do this corner where I have my couch, or maybe I'll come in a little bit closer for a closer shot. Next, you need equipment. Now, I think a big block when it comes to video podcast specifically is setup. Setup is a lot. Now, if you can bear it, if you don't mind, I kind of keep my stuff out. I don't fully tear down my setup. So usually this corner looks like this. So I leave my lights here collapsed. I leave my microphone stuff just out. And then I have like my tripod here as well. And my cameras are always out anyways. And this just helps so much because instead of thinking, oh my gosh, I have to go upstairs to storage and grab my lights and grab my tripod and set everything up, everything is already right here. I'm literally looking at it. I just have to walk over and set it up. So now I'm gonna walk y'all through the equipment. Now you don't need a camera. I would say if you have a good phone with a decent camera, I would say use that. There's so many YouTube videos about how to make your iPhone camera look professional. So use your iPhone, get a microphone, because audio is 50% of the content. Audio is 50% of video. It's so important, so important. If you know where that quote is from, leave a light bulb in the comments down below, because you were also scouring YouTube for your content creation journey when you started. The big question, what equipment do I use? Let me show you guys some of that. So starting off with your camera, I have the Sony ZV-E10. I actually had just started off with my Canon G7X Mark II. I love that. It was my first camera, but I broke it on my solo travel trip to St. Thomas. It happens. The vlog was good, but the camera didn't make it out. So I bought this, and I always will need a point and shoot in my life. So I actually have the Sony ZV-1 as well, which is what you're seeing right now. With the Sony ZV-1, I got an accessories kit that came with a small microphone, sits in the hot shoe. That's what you're hearing the audio from right now, and it sounds amazing. It sounds great. I love it so much. But I definitely do hear the difference between this and the next microphone that I'm going to show you. So this is the Samson Q2U. I got it off of Amazon. Great microphone. Love it. Super cheap. When I bought it, under $70, and it sounds amazing. I'm not, one of the most famous podcasters. I don't need the best equipment. I just need the audio to sound crisp, to sound clear. So I got this. I got my plugins also from Amazon. And then this is where the magic happens. I have my Zoom PodTrack P4. This was an investment, but so worth it. Zoom PodTrack P4. This allows me to record with multiple microphones. I have two Samsons just in case I have a guest on the pod. It allows it to both be recorded onto one track, make my life so much easier. I can control audio settings. If I have a headphone that I want to listen in on, I can plug that in as well. I can control the bounce from here as well. Just amazing, and makes the process so much easier. This plugs into my laptop and I can record my audio straight into Logic, which is great. Logic is an audio editing software. There's so many. I may or may not have gotten access to Logic through someone that I used to know, sending my love, but literally blessed me with that software because it's been so helpful. I record onto that through this, speaking into this microphone. And so this audio, unlike this small microphone that plugs into the hot shoe, this audio goes into a completely different track. Now, you'll be surprised how easy it is to combine your audio and video tracks when you're editing. Yes, it does take some time. It can take time to load, but I'm telling you, the crispness of the sound that you will get, so worth it. But I will show y'all later in the video after we talk about lighting, positioning, and actually recording. So now you have your microphone, you have your pod track, you have your corner, you're in a good mood. You need some light. You need your face to be lit. So lights. These lights, Amazon, y'all. I love Amazon. So also all of the stuff I've had for over like a year and a half. Do you see how much the light changed when I stepped out from behind that light? Like, Amazon will get you. You don't need the most expensive crazy thing. These lights, Wisamic box lights, I believe $50 when I got them. Also from Amazon, came in a set of 2, comes with a remote to change the warm and cool settings on the light. So it has this box light and this box light, which I'll set up. When you are setting your lights up, you want your main light and at least a fill light. My overhead light is just gonna be the lights in my ceiling. This light is coming at this main direction. I'm gonna make the second one come from the side just to fill in the space. Have this light coming this way, and then we also have our fill light coming this way, and that looks really good to me. So setting up the camera. So typically what I do, I just have my camera, and I'm really bad at charging my batteries, but these cameras have USB-C ports, so I am just gonna plug it in while I'm recording. Sometimes this can lead to overheating. I did charge this camera before, so I don't think I'm gonna do that today, but typically I would, especially if it's a longer form video, I'll plug it in. But let's get this SD card in and set up the camera. If you don't have one of these yet, you're gonna wanna get one. It's just like an SD card holder. I want you to guess where I got this from. Just guess. Just guess. Amazon. You're right. I wonder how you guessed. Honestly, y'all, with these, it's trial and error because half of these are full. So usually, honestly, what I end up doing, I'm gonna just delete like a ton of this footage off here. I usually save things onto my hard drive anyway, and so there is definitely space. This is what I'm saying, like, you don't have to overcomplicate this process. I already have wiped the lens off. I did that earlier, but next we're gonna set up the camera. You're gonna need a tripod. I'm not even gonna tell y'all where it's from because you already know. Put your camera on it. So when you have your corner, you don't have to do this. I just am tired of my corner and want a new one. So we're gonna try to move some things around. It's actually not bad. It's just this middle row. I think it's cute. So now the camera is set up, looking right at me. I'm gonna record a tiny clip just to make sure that I like how it looks. I want to move this to cover the outlet. So now that that's set up, we're gonna set up our audio and then it'll be all set. So this part can be a little bit confusing, but I'm gonna flip the camera and show y'all so you can see. I'm just gonna start a new project. So you have your audio input, audio output, external MIDI. I'm gonna be using USB-C. One end of that is going to plug into my pod track. The other end is going to plug into my laptop. Now, because it's plugged in, I can turn this on. This does take batteries, but I think it's just easier using it plugged in. That way you know that it won't die on you. It also can record that a laptop using an SD card, but I just find it easier connecting it and putting the recording directly onto my laptop rather than transferring it from the SD card to my laptop. So you have your audio, you have your input, and now I see here, device, Zoom audio device, putting that as my input number 1, my output, MacBook Pro speakers. Now, if you were really doing this professionally, this output would be a pair of headphones, but I'm not doing that today. Literally, this is how I test my audio. I'm gonna tap my microphone, and as you can see, the audio back there is going up. While I'm talking to y'all right now, the audio is not going up. But if I bring this microphone close to my mouth, you will see the audio going up, so I know that it's working. This device, how I said it could edit the gain, how you can control the gain through each channel, I've already adjusted it to my voice. So as you can see, when I talk into the microphone, it's never actually going over that red line unless I like yell, or the gain is adjusted to the loudness of my voice. So if I have a guest on, I'll ask them to speak. You always want to make sure that the gain for them is at a point where at the regular speaking voice, the audio won't go too high and you won't get bad audio and all of that. Let's do a practice clip. Hi, beautiful, and welcome back to another episode of the I Am podcast. My name is... Welcome back to another episode of the I Am podcast. My name is... That sounds so good. All right, y'all, so now we have our lights, our audio, our camera. It's time for action. That's so corny. This is the point where I'm gonna do my last touches. Usually I do get ready before setting up. So we're basically ready to record. The lights are up, camera's up, audio is on the side. I have my microphone plugged in and on. It's like so funny, like all this stuff out of frame that like no one will ever see, except for now. This part is definitely different for everyone, but whatever you need to do to warm up, to feel comfortable speaking to the camera. So I'm just gonna rehearse my intro for this. I'm trying to add more visual hooks, so we're gonna do that with this. Grab your favorite drink, grab your notebook, because girl, we need to talk. I feel like that's cute, right? Hi, beautiful. Welcome back to another episode of the I Am podcast. My name is Jaazy. If we have not met already, you've probably already learned how to rebrand for the new year. You're ready. You're ready to go. This way of sitting is actually really uncomfortable, guys. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna finish for this video because I do like this frame and I don't feel like starting over, but definitely something to consider. All of those things that we love would mean nothing if anybody what to do. I think that was good. I low-key kept looking at this little viewfinder to make sure my hair was blending. So I don't think I was looking in the camera's eye the whole time, but we got it done, y'all. That's all that matters. When I tell y'all that life has been interesting, I mean interesting. So I'm just glad we got this video done. And hopefully that's encouraging to y'all that like this process is not perfect, it's not clean, it's just about putting out content that is genuine and authentic to you and being yourself like on the journey. So yeah, now that I'm done recording, this is actually still going, but I'm just going to get some headshots for the thumbnail. So literally just sit and pose for the video and then I'll screenshot it later for the thumbnail. All right, so we are done recording the video. I'm gonna go change into something more comfortable and then we'll get right into editing. We're back. Now, usually I would be sitting in my bed doing this, but I realized it would be difficult to record while doing that. But let's get to editing. So we left off, we finished recording, had our audio set up. This is what we're gonna do next. So you're gonna bounce your audio, which basically is just exporting your audio. Let's see, it ends at 8:35. So we're gonna file, bounce the project from 111, this from the beginning, the first beat, to 8:35. Now this I want to save to my hard drive, and so I'm gonna connect my hard drive. Doesn't really matter what you use, I just have my LIFESTLYE. I believe it's 2 terabytes. I'm gonna save this in the location of my hard drive in my in progress podcast folder, and then I'll have a new folder in here called back to basics, and this will bounce to that folder. This should really only take like 15-20 seconds, but we're just gonna wait for it to finish. So now we have the audio file, being enough to have energy to get throughout the day. Great. Step 1 is complete. This is literally just me and my blanket, the most casual tutorial you will ever watch. But the next thing you're gonna do is take a little adapter. I got this little thingy off of Amazon. One side is USB-C. I'm gonna stick it into my laptop, the SD card from the camera you recorded with, and plug that in. So now your setup looks like this. So you have this folder in your hard drive with the audio file. I can X out of Logic, we're done with that. If I have more time, I could edit the audio in Logic, but I don't personally have time to do that because I'm already going to be syncing it with my video clips. So, which this is my SD card, and I'm gonna grab the clips from what we recorded today. God came for my neck in so many ways. All of this footage and drag it here. I like working off my hard drive just because I find it easier to manipulate the footage or to go back to editing it, especially if, you know, clips, I just like having it as part of my system because sometimes you'll be editing something and different clips will be in different places. You might have used different cameras. Some clips might be on your phone, and so just knowing in my head, okay, everything for this project is going to be in this folder in this hard drive makes it a lot easier because that's like, I don't have to think about it. I just know it's there. So now we have the audio and the video, and we're going to upload those both into CapCut and merge everything together. Usually I'll delete an old project that I've already uploaded onto YouTube just to save space within the app. I'm going to drag in both of these files. We're going to press sync video and audio. And this can take a little bit of time, but it will save you such headache later. So what you're going to want to do next is take this bottom, how I was saying you don't want the audio to be too maxed out. So I'm just going to take the volume toggle, just that way the tops here aren't all red. You can see it's more just like speckled. Use this Pro feature. I do have CapCut Pro. It's just so nice, especially if you're creating a lot. And I reduce the noise on the audio clip. The agents. Next, I'm going to mute this clip above it, just that none of that audio is coming through since it's not as good quality. And then selecting both of the clips together, you're going to create a compound clip. Am I holding myself to the standards that I say that I want? Am I carrying myself as the woman that I say that I am? And so now you have a clip where you have your good video and your good audio all in one file, which is amazing. Now this is the point where if you want to go in and kind of like edit it at all, like the actual colors of your video, like maybe, yeah, you can edit any of these things just to change the colors or anything that you're interested in changing. That's basically the point that we're at now. So I'm just going to go through and edit and chop through the video. I made a TikTok, I think it's also on my YouTube shorts, about how I just go through and chop up my podcast. So if you want a more detailed video of that, go check it out on my page or put in the comments below. But just gonna go through or run through the video, chop it up, and leave in what it is that I want to say. Since we've already moved everything to the hard drive, I can also now eject my SD card and just let my laptop charge while I'm working, which is great, just to make sure that it doesn't die. But yeah, I forgot to mention, I also already have a folder in the hard drive labeled content templates, and it has like the intro and the outro ready to drag in. This is super important, just so it's easy to put your videos together as you're editing. Because girl, we need to talk. Of the I Am podcast. My name is Jaazy. If we have not met already, start a business, but you don't even consistently take care of your own body. The next step is literally so easy. I did it absentmindedly and completely forgot to show y'all, but just got back from work and I'm going to show you now. So you have exported your audio and video. You are going to need 3 websites: YouTube, Buzzsprout, and Canva. On YouTube, you're going to press this create button, upload video, and here you can drag and drop your file. Once it loads up, it'll bring you to a page like this where you will type in your title, and you can actually reuse information from recent videos. So I actually have this signature in here that I've written, and I reuse it for every single video. I don't have to retype it. I can just reuse from previous videos that I have posted. So you're gonna fill in your title, your description, if you have any relevant links. Also, you can add in tags to your other social profiles as well as timestamps to separate your video and optimize your search. Next, you're gonna select that it's not made for kids. This just allows your video to have greater reach, and check off all of these other relevant boxes. Next is the tag section. This is really important. It allows you to add in anything you want the search engine to pick up about your video. Next, it's gonna run and allow you to add tags, add end cards, add your end screen, all of these things to your video. I have a space for my video for the subscribe button, my most recent uploads, and the video that will be best for the viewer, and I put that at the end of every video, as well as any cards that will be relevant. For example, at this point I talked about I hope that you're ready to rebrand, and so I added a card to my most recent video about rebranding. In Canva, you're going to pull in all of those images that you took while you were posing for the camera and turn them into your thumbnail. If you want a more in-depth tutorial on this, I can do that as well. After this, you will upload your video and it will show up on your YouTube page, and now you have a YouTube video. Grab your favorite drink, grab a pen and paper, because girl, we need to talk. Amazing. So now you have a YouTube video live on the platform, but let's remember, this is a podcast. When you uploaded your video from CapCut, you saved your video file, which you brought to YouTube. But you also saved an audio file. I use Buzzsprout as my podcast hosting platform. There are many others. I believe there's also free ones, and so there's options for this. But basically, I just upload a new episode, drag and drop an audio file, and then I fill in my same description from YouTube, but edit it to say podcast episode instead of video. I add some tags and also any relevant links and upload here. And after that, your audio will show up on Spotify, Apple Music, any relevant podcast hosting platforms. Now, if I have extra time, I will take that audio file, bring it back into Logic, and optimize it to really be suitable for a podcast listening experience. I have a separate intro and outro that I actually need to update, but that's completely different than my YouTube intro and outro, and it's really just for podcast listeners. So if I have time, I'll edit that into my audio. Recently, I don't have time for that, and I think that for me at least, the audio part of the podcast is just to have, so that way as the platform grows, it's already there and growing along with it. As my bandwidth increases one day, maybe once I have editors and things, then I'll start being a little more particular about those details. But this is where planning comes into play. When I'm recording my podcast episodes, I try to make sure that I'm starting them off in a way that would also be suitable for someone who's only listening to audio. That's basically how I upload the content and get it onto YouTube. But I hope that this video was helpful for you. I'm so excited to see y'all's content. There is an infinite amount of things, steps, add-ons you can do for your process. This is what I'm doing right now, my process with the time that I have. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below, and I look forward to seeing you next video. Bye!